Hey gang, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I sit on this bench outside and spiel some stuff. So today we're going to be talking about these 5 books, and they are 5 books that I sort of wish I read when I was 20 years old, and that I will continue to reread and revisit because they're just excellent books, and they're kind of the only 5 actual self-help books that I think anyone really needs to read, and that I will just reread over and over again because they are so good and they're backed by research and by evidence and science and all that kind of stuff, which is really important to me. And yeah, basically, if you're going to read 5 self-help non-fiction books, read these 5. So let's start off with the one about relationships. Maybe I'll bring it up to the camera. It's called Attached by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel S.F. Heller. The tagline is, "Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? How the science of adult attachment can help you find and keep love." This is just a fantastic book about relationships, basically, and attachment theory and how you kind of navigate your personal romantic relationships. I read it earlier this year, and it's just something that I think I will continue to refer back to have happy, healthy relationships. And I think it relates a lot to friends and family and stuff as well, just all of the lessons that come in this book. And yeah, it's very much evidence and science-based, which I think is really important. And I didn't really know a huge amount about attachment theory, which I think is like a really interesting concept. And these 3 styles of anxious, avoidant, or secure, apparently everyone fits into one of those categories. And most people are secure, like over 50% of people are actually in the secure category. But then some people are anxious and some people are avoidant. And it's not to say that any one of these categories is worse or better, or it's anyone's fault for being in any category. But generally, the ways of navigating relationships in the secure category are just easier, stress-free, more long-term, more successful, and more sustainable. So we want to kind of learn from the people who are secure and try and become more like them and navigate our relationships in a secure way, rather than sort of playing games and overthinking stuff, which is obviously easier said than done. But this book gives us a guide to having healthy, happy, long-lasting relationships, which is super important. So book 2 is actually a really important book for me and something I genuinely refer to quite a lot and like reread on like a weekly basis almost. It's called High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. It's an amazing book, and it has these 6 habits in it. And this is actually the most important book, I think, of all 5. And the 6 habits are clarity, energy, necessity, productivity, influence, and courage. And he basically breaks down how those are the 6 most important habits that anyone can have and that anyone can develop. High performance is not something that you are like gifted with. Some people obviously have like varying levels of intelligence and genetics and all that kind of stuff, but high performance for yourself is something that you can learn and develop over time by focusing on those 6 habits. So being more clear about what you want, having more energy, deriving necessity from the things that you're doing, and figuring out how you can be as productive as possible, how you can have influence over others, and how you can sort of do everything with courage and be brave and be strong and fight through all of your anxieties and all that kind of stuff. It's like genuinely incredible and changed my life in a lot of different ways. A lot of the content that I talk about on this channel in the past, like about generating clarity and all that kind of stuff, is from this book, High Performance Habits. This is the number 1 recommendation I have of these 5. Not sure why I didn't start with it, but beyond the 6 habits, the number 1 thing that Brendon Burchard says is key to high performance and just living a good life in general is confidence. So if you are not confident, then it's probably holding you back a lot more than you realize. And he has 3 C's of confidence in here. They are competence, so just being good at something or good at the thing. Congruence, so that means doing things in line with who you are and what you believe. And then connection, so deriving confidence by connecting with others and relating to others. He says you can work on to develop more confidence, and if you don't have confidence, then you will really struggle to sort of high perform in general, be a high perform highly, and also just go after the things that you want to go after. The 3rd book is called Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning by Peter C. Brown, Henry L. Roediger III, and Mark A. McDaniel. 3 authors, amazingly. 2 are like researchers, and 1 guy is a storyteller who kind of turns the research and the conclusions into stories that make the book interesting to read. And this book is what every student or pupil and just anyone who's learning any skill needs to read, because it is about how humans learn, about how our memory works, about how we make connections in the brain, and the best techniques to actually increase the pace at which you can learn something, but then also how you create durable learning, so things that stay in your mind. They talk about how basic learning principles like active recall, which is where if you want to remember something, you have to retrieve the piece of information. So just reading something over and over again is not useful because you're not testing your brain, you're just reading it from the page. But testing yourself means that your brain has to strengthen the connection to find that memory. That is obviously quite basic, and lots of us know that. But the book has lots of more compelling information about how we basically approach studying and revising completely the wrong way, just rereading reading and note taking and all that kind of stuff, whereas actually it's all about mixing up your practice, active recall, spaced repetition, and these kind of techniques. It's just a fantastic book, and learning how to learn is one of the best skills that you can learn, ironically, because it just speeds up how quickly you can learn other skills, and that in turn will save you so much time and allow you to progress faster in your studies, in your career, in your hobbies, whatever it is. And yeah, I've learned so much from this book, and I will continue to revisit it. The fourth book is called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and the tagline is Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed and Happiness. This book I've actually read this week, but the reason it's in here is because I just know that I'm going to continue to refer to this book and reread it, and I think about the lessons in here a lot already, and I just wish I'd read this when I was 20, because it has so many useful pieces of information about how we think about money and how we relate to money and why money is useful and the importance money has in our lives. And I think in particular the stuff I'm taking from this book is the kind of slow, steady, stable approach to money. It's more important to not have catastrophic moments where you lose lots of money than it is to have really big wins. The idea of having enough, which I think is something that I personally struggle with and lots of people struggle with, is just like knowing when is enough, when can you have enough money, and also how money relates to freedom and autonomy and happiness. And there's this cool quote which I'm going to read to you. Having a strong sense of controlling one's life is a more dependable predictor of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered. More than your salary, more than the size of your house, more than the prestige of your job, control over doing what you want, when you want to, with the people you want to, is the broadest lifestyle variable that makes people happy. Money's greatest intrinsic value, and this can't be overstated, is its ability to give you control over your time, to obtain bit by bit a level of independence and autonomy that comes from unspent assets that give you greater control over what you can do and when you can do it. When I read that for the first time, I just had never seen it articulated like that, and I just thought it was a cool revelation, and I made a note of it. And yeah, awesome book, 100% worth reading, especially when you are in your early 20s. And then the fifth book is called Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, and the tagline is Build the Perfect Career Step by Step. And I won't talk about this book too much because I've mentioned it quite a few times on my channel, but it's just an awesome book about careers and answering the difficult questions like, what do I want to do with my life? Making sure you're never stuck because you've always got enough ideas of things that you know you can do, and also just how to get the best jobs. It's basically a book about how to build a life that you love, and it's just a fantastic book. Couldn't recommend it more for especially people in their early 20s or even before that. It's just so much novel thinking in here, and yeah, I really recommend it. So Designing Your Life is for careers. Psychology of Money is obviously about the financial part of your life. Then Make It Stick is about the kind of learning part of your life and your memory and stuff. And then High Performance Habits is about self-help epicness, how extraordinary people become that way. And then Attached is about relationships. So hopefully those 5 books cover the most important areas of your life. And I just know that these 5 books are ones that I'm going to continue to refer to at various points, and I really wish I'd read when I was 20 years old. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, got something from the vid. If you want to see how I approach reading in general and just how I went from not reading very much to reading lots more, then watch this video here. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.